heretic. Now, I want to actually bring this up, and probably at the outset, is that what you may not know is that Genesis 6 years ago was basically run out of England in the same sort of campaign of vilification, very similar to what happened to Timothy Leary, very similar to what happened to Crowley in the 20s. So that the tabloid newspapers were calling you the most evil man alive, and
absolutely they were, and a wrecker of civilization, and it's true, it's very true, very similar, very parallel. And my answer is always, when I'm told that I have the alliance of all these demonic forces and I am so all-powerful, you know, how come I can't pay the rent most of the time? And I wish I could destroy your civilization in a wink, but unfortunately it doesn't seem that simple. So somebody's not telling me something, because I haven't been given the skills to operate whatever it is you say I've inherited. But
well, I've been accused of being a CIA agent so many times that I often think of sending a bill to Langley and asking them to pay the back money they owe me. And Mae Brussell accused me of being an agent of the Rockefeller conspiracy. And Conspiracy Digest, I confessed in the next issue, saying David Rockefeller personally comes over and delivers a bar of gold every month, and I got them all stacked in my basement. Woof, woof, woof. And I'm sure she was showing that letter to people for years, saying, see, he confessed. And they would say, what's that woof, woof, woof? And she'd say, well, it's because he's in alliance with the dog beings from Sirius.
And what did she say to that? She probably believed it, right?
I'm sure she believed my confession. She had no sense of humor whatsoever.
Well, what we're really talking about is the way that the consensus rich order that rule different societies, particularly in the West, different techniques they use to discredit those who they consider, rightly or wrongly, enemies or threats to their status quo. I mean, that's basically, it's a technique. You either disgrace it, you turn it into the Reds under the bed syndrome, or you ridicule it. The best way, of course, is to ignore it. Notoriety in and of itself gives you an audience.
Yeah, the New York Times did a very objective obituary on Tim Leary, and then a few days later they did an editorial saying nobody would remember anything about Leary except turn on, tune in, drop out, and nobody even remembers whether that was that way in that order, or was it tune in, turn on, drop out. And that may be true around the New York Times editorial office, but I travel all over the Western world, from Berlin to Maui on my lecture tours. I'm getting around. Every place I go, people are using Leary's 8-circuit model of the nervous system. They're talking about his ideas about computer technology and its liberatory possibilities, his ideas about space migration, all the things the New York Times never printed. The fact that the New York Times doesn't know about it or won't print it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There's a vast Leary culture all over the Western world.